Hey everybody, I'm Sean, and welcome to another episode of Angling Spiders. Welcome back everybody. On today's episode, as you can see, I am standing near my Frabill Bro Series tent, and I wanted to give you an update and a bit of a review. We have now had this thing for 2.5 seasons. I love the tent itself, but I recently have been having some issues with this tent and it's really annoying me. So that's what I'm going to talk about today, and also talk about my solutions on how I'm going to try to fix it. So let's get right into it. So if you guys have been following the channel for a while, you know that we have been using this Frabill Bro Series tent for the last couple ice fishing seasons. The tent itself is great. It is blackout conditions inside, which is great for when you have the underwater camera running and you want to see down the hole. So it's been great from that perspective. It's insulated and it stays really warm in there. That's been great. The zippers have held up really well. They are a bit tight, but they've held up exceptionally well. But I have been having issues with the poles. And the biggest issue with that in a Frabill tent is the hub system they have means that the poles themselves cannot be replaced, which is really annoying. So that's the challenge I've been having. I had a pole break. Also been annoying is that I reached out to Frabill and I tried to get a hold of them, and I have had no response. I've sent multiple emails, I've called, and I got nothing from their customer service. I went online and I found out that other people have had similar problems trying to get in touch with them. So I don't know what the deal is there. Now, to be honest, it's past the warranty period, so I'm not sure what they could do anyway, but at least I was trying to reach out and see if they have any fix. The other issue with these poles is that the hubs themselves are not replaceable. Frabill doesn't sell replaceable hubs, so if the poles break, you're pretty much in trouble. And in a lot of tents, there's ways you can fix that. You can go out and buy fiberglass poles, put them in there as replacements, and it works great. I'll show you why this is a problem, at least in particular with this Frabill Bro Series tent. All right, so here is the problem. This is the bottom of my tent. Now the tent is currently folded up, and these are the hubs that hold the poles for the tent. Now, in a lot of the different brands that are out there, these hubs, you can unscrew them and then the poles come out because the poles are seated in the hub. In this case, you can't. And the reason for that is in this Frabill Bro Series tent, there's actually a pin. I'll show you. This pin right here goes through the pole and holds that pole in place. And so that pin is a fixed piece of the hub, and it goes through each one of these poles. And so this one that is currently not broken is just fine, and it's seated in that hub. But as you can see, this one has broken and is no longer pinned to that hub. Now, because of this pin, you can no longer replace this part. And in fact, Frabill does admit that you cannot buy replacement poles or even replacement hubs with all 4 poles on them. If these break, you're pretty much out of luck. So basically, to me, this is the absolute poorest design, because you can never replace these things. And if they bust, which inevitably they're going to do because of the amount of tension they're under, your tent is pretty useless, especially if multiple poles break. And that's what happened to me. Just since the start of the ice fishing season, I've had 3 poles break. And so now I'm faced with, how am I going to fix this? And the only way you can do it is to create something on the end of this pole that would create a loop that goes around this pin. So that's what I'm going to do. So this is my attempt to fix my Frabill Bro Series tent. All right, so exactly how am I going to try to repair this thing? Well, what I've got here is this steel strapping, and I am going to try to attach this steel strapping around the end of the pole to create a loop that will go around the pin. And then I need to make sure I hold the strapping in place, and in order to do that, I'm using one of these clamps. All right, everybody, so the first step is pretty simple. I just cut off a piece of the strapping. I'm going to fold it around so that it creates a loop at the end, and that's going to be the loop that goes around that pin at the bottom. And then what I need to do is put it on the pole. Here's the end of my broken pole. I'm going to slide it in here, basically like that. And that little loop that you can see is what's going to go around this pin. And so in order to do that and hold it in there, I have to hold this strapping in place. And so in order to do that, I'm going to slip this band on here, tighten that up as tight as I can get it. That allows me to reverse it in the future if this band breaks, and allows it to be replaceable. So this next thing I'm going to do next is I have to slip this band around the pin, get it around here, and start tightening. All right, there it is. So what I've done is I've put the strap around the pole, I've put that clamp on, and I've tightened this up as tight as I can make it. And now there is no way for that pole to come out of there because I've basically created a loop. So the real question is, when I try to open this thing, is that going to be enough strength with this metal strapping to hold that pole in place given the amount of tension that's on there? I don't know, but what I do know is that pole's not going anywhere. So if there's a weak point now, it's in that metal strapping, and we'll see how long that holds. But at least for the time being, it's a fix that should work. So I've already actually, on this one, 2 of these poles on this particular hub broke, and you can see I've installed one on both sides. So I got one left to do on a different hub, and then it'll be time to test this thing out. All right, so you guys saw me trying to fix the poles and come up with a solution. This is actually the next day. So I have got it set up. It is working. I was able to set it up. It doesn't set up as well as it used to. It's a little bit more, the poles are a little bit more loose, and it doesn't want to set up the same way with the same amount of tension. But I was able to get it set up, and so I'll go show you inside what it looks like right now. All right, you guys, so here you can see my fix on this pole. It is holding. It's not the most elegant looking thing. And I'll show you the ones on the other side. Here they are holding as well. I got one in there that's a bit crooked, so I'm gonna have to fix it. But at least I'm able to use the tent. Okay, so I'm hoping those hold for a while. I'm hoping that solution works for as long as I possibly can, because, as I said, absolutely nothing wrong with the tent itself. And it would be a shame to no longer be able to use it because of those poles. So, at the end of it, after 2.5 years of fishing, I would not recommend this particular tent because of that hub issue. And I would avoid it completely. And I don't know if all Frabill tents are this way with the same kind of hub, spoken hub system, but if they are, I definitely wouldn't get them. So if you're in the market for an ice fishing tent, make sure you check to see if those poles are replaceable. It's something that I'll be looking for sure in the future. All right, that one's gonna close it out today. Just a quick update on the tent and an overview, gear review. As always, if you liked the video, smash that like button, hit subscribe. Until next time, good fishing.